Alright, so I haven't been streaming the last couple of weeks. Had a family event, and then not feeling well, and so just took the day off. But we're back. We've gotten some things done. I don't even remember if I've showed this on stream at all. So this is my multi-item storage system. It's partially in. My audio for Minecraft might be a little hot. I'm gonna just dial that down a little bit. Compared to my levels, like just looking at my voice levels versus the game music and stuff, I think I'm a little warm right now. I unfortunately don't have anybody in right now to double check it for me, so if somebody shows up, I will ask them. Anyway, so multi-item storage using shelves. Stuff goes in there. The design is Silent Whisperers, so I did not build them on stream, which is my standard. I do not build other people's stuff while on stream. I also installed the grow pots add-on, and I've installed a couple other add-ons too since we've been on. I'll get to those in a minute. I think only one more. So this module is partially in. I haven't put the guys in yet, but it's here. Does this chest not have anything in? What am I intending to be in here? Oh, slime. That's why. Alright. I did change. You get a little idea of what's going on. I did the floor upstairs. You're going to see that in a second. And so to that end, I got rid of this ladder and put a stair down to here. Because I did the floor in here. Iron farm is still going. And I did the floor out here. I think it looks pretty good. So this was all just stone, and now I've run this. This red might change because I'm using the Plenty of Blocks add-on, and when they go to 2.0, they have put in slabs and stairs, which means that I can do mangrove slabs and stairs with the fun textures that they've got in their pack, including a smooth one. So I might be able to get away from, because I want this to be kind of like a red carpet looking thing, and I don't, but I need stairs in order to be able to do like this, right? So I can't just use wool blocks or just carpets because I wanted it to be able to traverse upstairs. Yeah, that over there is a thing that I built recently, which I'll show you all in a second. So I put this, landing strip in all the way around. And I started putting this in. I think this is going to be how we get up. And then the second level will be up here. And then this is going to wrap around all the way up. We're going to have this building go all the way up to the top. But let's look at some of the other stuff that I've done. So in addition to this, and the storage, the multi-item storage downstairs, we also did a couple other things. It's another box! Yay! No, actually, this is just like all of my builds. This is clad with this stuff until I get a building wrapped around it to give me a shape. This is a moss farm. Not a moss farm. A mud farm. This is actually a combination of two different YouTubers' designs. One for this part of the farm, which is the piston feed tape that comes out like this, and another one for the big blockerizer up there, this thing. Um, that I got from another guy, and I don't remember either of their names right now, but I will look them up and put them in the description for the VOD. So if people want to learn how to make those farms, they're there. What I really love about this mud maker is that I don't have to refill any bottles. This thing's got the bottles in it, and it spits out the water. The bottle gets sucked out by the hopper, it gets shot into the back, yeah, into a dropper back there. See right there, which then spits it out in the empty bottle out into that water stream, which an empty bottle goes into a water stream, it refills, and then it goes over in and then back into the dispenser again. So that is a self-filling water. And so then this is a piston feed tape that will run along like this. And then when it gets to the end, that one triggers and it pushes the whole thing down. Once it gets to here, that observer sees it, which then triggers this line of pistons to push that whole line up like this. These blocks have all been done. And once it gets all the way up to the top, there's an observer over there that will make all of these pistons fire to push it that way. And when you run it, you get a big block of mud. And we're going to stop for just a second because we're going to do this. We're getting some bots today. I had 3 so far, just from starting. This is a one-man show, so every now and again I'm going to have to stop and deal with that, you know. And so this is how the mud maker works. Just put the block in, and what's awesome is I can just hold this mud button down, and it works just as fast as the game will let me place. And you can see the bottles there going. And I'll just feed this whole stack in. I'm not going to stand here and do it. It'll take, in order to make that whole big block, which goes all the way to piston push limit for a big rectangular brick of mud, it's basically an entire shulker box full. It's pretty cool. So let me just finish shoving these in here, and then we'll go see. I'll show you what it did. And like I said, I don't remember the names of the YouTubers right now because they're not ones that I'm as familiar with. I did find them on YouTube. I will put their names in the VOD for this. And so you can see that that one stack did all of that. And then it will just go up all the way out to here. And then we'll have this great big brick of mud. And then you have the other manual part. You got to climb up that scaffolding, get up there with a shovel, and just go to town. So, all right. So that's the first thing that I did, or the second thing, if you count the storage system, which isn't quite complete, but it's most of the way done. The next thing that I did is over here. It's another big rectangle. Right. This is actually 2 farms. Well, messed that up. Let's try that again. This is a moss farm and a pale moss farm. And these are both using SilentWisperer's designs for it. They are identical. They are chunk aligned, which is why they've got the thing on the floor, just so that I can see where the chunk is. It also means that I can now chunk align other things off of this. This is the chunk boundary right here, this gray. And so you can see Moss Farm go burr. over there, pale moss farm go burr. What's really cool about it is that it's very productive. For it basically produces twice the amount of bone meal that it takes. So 4 stacks of bone meal per machine will basically fill these 2 double chests down here on both machines with stuff. And then if you take all that stuff and compost it, you'll get a little bit more than 8 stacks of bone meal. So this is a pretty darn strong bone meal farm between the two. Solid moss farm and pale moss farm. So if I need moss blocks or pale moss blocks, I've got them. So turn that off. Let's make sure it's not sleepy time. It's not. Alright, so that's that. Now, what we're doing today, or my thought for today, is to do, I think, a little exploration. Let's get back inside. I'll dump this. This stone and cobblestone and stuff is from doing some excavation, so I want to get that stuff out of my pockets and put away. I still need to put a shulker unloader on this chest. That hasn't happened yet. Oh, I missed a stack of cobble. Alright, get in there. Alright, let's take a look at our book. Iron farm. Done. Trading hall. Done. Storage system. Kind of done. Bulk storage is in. Multi-item storage is partially in. Shulker box unloader's not in. So maybe we don't mark that as complete yet. Mud farm. Done. General mob farm. We're not doing that. Changed my mind. Moss farm. Did that. Gold farm. Still to do. Wool farm. Still to do. Super smelter. Done. Lava generator. Done. So this gold farm is going to be underground. The wool farm might be underground. I don't know. I also want to do bamboo. And we're going to call this bamboo / sugarcane. Let's just call that bamboo sugarcane. Because I'm going to use a flying machine to harvest both, and so they can be on the same thing. I want to do... I also want... words. Bamboo and sugarcane. Honey and honeycomb. And I have the beehives for it already, just haven't built it. And so, gold farm is going to be underground. It's going to be underneath the administrator's palace. It's not going to be in. It's not going to be one of these buildings. Almost all of these are buildings that are either part of the main palace structure or kind of secondary buildings around it to create that overall kind of palace compound. Because otherwise, we end up um, with a really symmetrical building, which is fine, but a palace, unless it was planned from the beginning, completely front to end, is not symmetrical. You build the structure and then you need to expand it. You add wings, things get added, changed, and so that's what's going on here. So each of these buildings is hello, hi guys. I did make a general mob farm. They're up there. Hey guys, you need to go. And 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 I clearly need to light that up over there. I have some torches. I have a few. All right, let's do that. Just temporarily. All right, we'll light this up. I'm going to want more torches anyway. Okay. Now, remember that this chest right here not only feeds into our bulk storage, it feeds into our multi-item storage down below. So I can just chuck this stuff in here and it'll make its way down to there. Some of this stuff won't, like this leather armor. There's nowhere for that in the system, so that's not going to go in there. So let's head back down, and then we'll get into what we're doing today. All right, we've got a couple of things. So one of the add-ons that I added is uncrafting, which lets you uncraft things. And when you do, it's available in the marketplace. When you uncraft things, you don't get back as much stuff as you do. Like, it's not a perfect recovery. You do lose some items, but considering that gets rid of something that you might. I mean, for that leather armor, what would have ended up happening with it was I would have ended up throwing it in the lava. So instead of throwing it in the lava, I uncraft it and I get a few pieces of leather out of it. So it's pretty good. So that's one of the add-ons that I've added. Where is? Let's see. Is it this one? Waystones. Yeah, uncrafting items. Uncrafting items is the name of that add-on pack. Custom vanilla lights we already talked about. I did that before. Plenty of blocks we talked about before. They're doing an update to Plenty of Blocks though, which I'm super excited about. The other one that I added is AFK farms. Oh, I also added farming pots. Farming pots is it's a common Java um, mod. I've used it before. I like it, and so I'm not going to use farming pots for everything. I am going to use it for things that I'm going to want, and I'm going to, and I don't want to. I don't want to AFK at farms because I have this game this world set up on a realm, so AFKing is going to be hard at best. And honestly, I don't like AFKing anyway. I think it's boring, and so um, rather than doing that, I'm going to be using some add-ons to make it so that I don't have to do that. One of the ones that I'm using for that is ones like farming pots, where this is doing its thing. It's making wheat for me so that I can use it to make packed mud, um, as opposed to having a giant wheat field. Also, I don't have anywhere in the immediate area around Trader's Gate, which is the city that I'm building right now. This is I promise it really will eventually be a city. Um, that there's nowhere for me to put big crop fields like that because Trader's Gate is a trade city. Stuff comes here and commerce happens here. They don't really produce stuff like that here. So while it would be appropriate for there to be like wagons of hay coming in and all kinds of food and all that stuff coming here to be traded, having the actual farms outside the city, for example, which is what you might expect in a more traditional city, doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the vision that I want. But I still want access to the wheat right now. There are places in the world, obviously, where there will be, you know, big farms, but not here. And so, since I want access to those materials, this is the way that I'm going to do it in order to get those materials. The other way that I'm dealing with this is with this AFK Farms add-on, where what this is you make these little farms. They're not quite the block-sized farms that you get in some mods. They're bigger than that. Um, you make you make blueprints with paper and light blue dye, and then you um, use those blueprints. What's cool is that they run all the time. Yep, that's and so you can then use a blank blueprint on a mob or a block that's on the farm list, and then it will give you a blueprint for making a farm. So these are some of the farms that you can make right here, and a lot of these we're not going to do. I'm not interested in doing them. Like I'm going to do a vanilla bamboo farm using a slime block flying machine because I think that's more fun. Um, and I am going to do a creeper farm with this thing because in order for a creeper farm really to be helpful here, it needs to be up in the sky. It's going to be really ugly. I can't cover it with anything, and not have it just be there. It's going to ruin the like aesthetic vision of what I've got for this area. Or I'm going to have to put it out in the middle of nowhere and then again AFK at it in order to generate gunpowder. Um, and so I'm going to use the creeper farm in here. I'm going to use the guardian farm in here for the same reason. Um, I I've done guardian farms before in vanilla. Um, I don't want to AFK at a farm in order to get prismarine. I'm going to do a manual kelp farm. I might do. I think I'll do one of these as a pufferfish farm of this because I want to be able to. Um, I don't want to spend lots and lots of time fishing. Um, slime farm will do in here. Because again, slime chunks are a pain. I don't want to AFK at farms. Da 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 da. Same deal. And I want slime for making pistons, sticky pistons, and slime block flying machines. I also don't need I don't need thousands and thousands of blocks either. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. I don't care about a witch farm because they can trade for redstone. I have a good iron farm. That's fine. I'm not going to do the zombie piglin one because I want to build a vanilla gold farm and do it that way. The way that these AFK farms work is that they use coal. and the farm stops producing. It only uses coal. So you are trading. Well, it uses coal and it uses a an augmenting fuel that will speed up. So coal is the base fuel that makes the farm run, and then after that, there's a secondary fuel that you can put into it that will make it more productive. So every farm uses coal plus something else. So you are part of the reason why I like this is because it runs based on a timer, whether you're logged into the world or not. It doesn't even have to be on a server or a realm. It can be on your offline world, and this will do it. It'll work. It'll give it to you, and it'll spit it out the other end, and you'll get the resources. So, so you're trading coal, which is you know finite-ish. Um, if you really want, you can set up a coal farm in the Nether with a wither skeleton. You'll notice that wither skeleton is not on the list of farms for this. Okay, skeleton is, but wither skeleton is not. Um, so I couldn't do like a self-feeding thing where I have a wither skeleton farm, one of these wither skeleton farms producing coal that I can then use to feed into it to feed. I can't do that. And so I think I like the intentionality of this. So it's really going to be, I'm really limiting it to the ones that I absolutely want to use this way. And then you get the boost fuel. So, and then you got to put a chest underneath it and the whole thing. So I need, in order to make blueprints, I need paper and light blue dye. Um, I've got one blueprint right here that I got for free, and I don't know if these things stack. So let's find that out. Is this paper? That's just books. Probably in the box with the. Yep, here it is. Paper. Um, yeah, you guys are doing your thing. Is everybody here? Everybody's brain still working? Okay. Paper. Paper. And then light blue dye. I have one light blue dye, but I can make lots of light blue dye because for light blue dye, you can use. I can either do cornflowers or I can do lapis. So I'm not really using lapis for anything right now. So let's use some lapis. 34, so half of 34 is 17. So and then for the white, I just happen to have some bone meal up here. Because this farm is still going. We will make light blue dye. And then we will make blueprints. And they do stack. Isn't that nice? So now I got more of these than I'm going to need. So the goal, one of the goals, is to get the critters that we're going to want for making these farms. So let's go back to that book and take a look at the list again. put that over here? I did. I was going to lose that. Oh, wait, I can get a pufferfish right away. I've got one in a bucket. That's great. Alright, so let's go over here just so that I can have everything in one place. And then let's go get my ender chest so that, again, I have everything in one place. We'll just keep doing this until we get there. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Alright, let's look at this book again. Farm types. We want creeper farm. See, and it gives you the build list. It uses gunpowder. It produces gunpowder, and it uses string as its boost fuel. So if you put coal in, it produces. You put coal and string in, it produces more. And this is the build list for making the farm. You need all these materials to put this farm together using the recipe. I like this. Creeper farm, Enderman farm, I don't care. I can buy pearls. Fish farm, I want a... Is it just a general fish farm? Produces all of those. So pufferfish, which we'll guess will be a general fish farm. Which is fine. Guardian farm, so we need to go find a guardian. And we are going to raid ocean monument because I want sponges. And it's fun. We get prismarine out of that. And what else? See, skeletons are just skeletons. They're not wither skeletons. Slime, we want that. So that's 4 mobs we need to go find. Obviously, some of these are easier than others, right? Spider, I don't care. Sugarcane, I want to do myself. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Wool farm we'll do on our own. So that is, I think, it. Guardian, yeah. Creeper, pufferfish, guardian, slime. Those are the ones that we're gonna do. Because those are the ones that are on the list. So we really only need 4 of these. And I might be able to get one of them right away. Let's see. Let's do this real quick. What could possibly go wrong? He's going to jump right out and get me. I'm waiting for that. So we're going to go 1 higher. I'm going to do this. In the hopes of not letting him jump out and just poke me immediately. And we'll put him down there. And we'll get our blueprint. And we'll go boop. And yep, that is a fish farm blueprint for a general fish farm. And we got our pufferfish back. And I did get stuck, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I don't know what I'm going to want those pufferfish for, but I've got them. Maybe we'll use them for getting a nautilus when those come out. That'd be fun. All right, so that's done. We have our fish farm blueprint. And I just threw my pick on the ground. That's awesome. All right. Pick that up. That can go here. Empty shulker. Fish farm. Cross that off the list. Creeper, guardian, slime. I mean, that's almost in order of, how much of a pain it's going to be. So, to that end, let's pull some stuff together and go on walkabout. Let's make sure that my utility box is stocked up. I know it isn't. I got coal blocks there. I got a little bit extra coal there. I may want to switch. Now that coal is going to be used for these farms, I might end up switching to charcoal for making torches. So I need to make another stack of torches for my pocket, and I need another one for the box. And I've got food. I want to refill my water bucket. Got my boat. I got a boat right here. I got a little bit of wood. I'll be able to get more in the field if I need it. Right. What do I have right now? For what do I have right now for stuff to make water breathing potions? Oh, hello, Silver. I'm doing well. How are you doing today? Thanks for stopping by. We are getting ready to go do a little exploring. Good to hear. Now, the question is, where in this whole mess are my pufferfish? There we go. 3, 6, 9, 12. Getting ready to go on a little expedition, so I'm going to do a little potion brewery. Let's just grab these. Some blaze powder. Redstone, golden carrots. Redstone, golden carrots. I have a few golden. Okay, that was special. I don't think I'm going to need that many. Making some night vision potions. Because we're going to do some underwater stuff. And then redstone for extending it. And then bottles. Bottles. Bottles are here. Bottles are here. We're going to do one shulker box with both potions of varying types. Nether wart. I will go... Did I replant my nether wart down there? Let's find out. I don't remember. Yeehaw. Nope, farm's not here. Here it is. I did replant that nether wart. Alright. Get this replanted. And then I have a little water farm right here, so that's perfect. Put my blaze powder in. And we start with that. We're going to make a whole bunch of potions. And then pufferfish. And then just a little bit of redstone. Adds a little spiciness to the mix. And another 5 minutes. I wish potions stacked. The fact that they don't stack stinks. I understand they need to be balanced somewhat, but like you can have them stacked to like, you know, something less than 64. You could have them stacked to 16 or 8. All right. 3 more. So we'll do 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Maybe I want more water breathing than night vision. Yeah, that's probably how I want to do it. Alright. So we're going to do a little exploration. I need to find some slime. Because I'm using an add-on called AFK Farms that I can make a slime farm that I can feed it coal and have it produce slime for me rather than building a vanilla farm because I'm not going to AFK at a farm. I'm just not. And this add-on imposes a cost on these farms rather than some other ones, some of the other mods that where you have like a mob in a box kind of farm where it doesn't really cost you very much in order to do it. This one actually does because not only do you have to go find the mob to get the blueprint, you then have to build the farm, and that's just a matter of collecting the resources, which the resources really aren't that complicated, so that's not a heavy limiter. Um, but then you have to put the farm itself runs on coal, and it runs on a boost material. So you have to put material into it in order to get the desired resource out. So you are feeding stuff into it to get stuff out. Um, so it's a little bit more balanced than your other types of add-on style farms. Um, and it doesn't work. You wouldn't use this for like what you would use on a server if you were going to have like a creeper farm on a server where you wanted boxes and boxes and boxes of gunpowder, because it's going to take a lot of coal in order to run it. So and coal, and it's specifically coal. Um, so it's not charcoal. So you don't. The only way to farm that would be a wither skeleton farm, and notably one of the AFK farms that's on the mod pack or on the add-on pack is not a wither skeleton. So there's no self-feeding version of it. So we're gonna go out. I'm gonna stock up on some water breathing potions and some night vision potions, um, and then we're gonna go out. Yeah, it's a good compromise, I think. You know, uh, so I need to go. I need to go find. I need to find a creeper, which that's not going to be hard. I'm going to probably see one when I go out the front door. Um, and I need to, rub this blueprint on its forehead in order to get the plan for the farm. This blank blueprint. You just right click on it and it'll give you the plan, but you got to find the mob to do it. And then I need to. I'm going to need to find some slimes in the wild, and I'm going to need to go find some guardians. So I wanted to do some underwater exploration anyway. I'd kind of like to find a shipwreck, like to do some sunken treasure digging, maybe get a heart of the sea, and maybe some sniffer eggs, and we'll find a hopefully we'll find a ocean monument while we're out doing all that. Then I can get a guardian farm. I will. We will want to raid an ocean monument as well because I want sponges. The guardian farm in this AFK pack does not produce. It's not Elder Guardians, so it's not producing sponges. It's just producing prismarine shards and prismarine crystals. So it's just the prismarine and sea lights. One more iteration of water breathing, I think. And then the rest will be night vision. This is your first time here. I'll give you a little walking tour of the what we're doing. What I'm doing on this world. This is my forever world, and I started it this summer. Um, so I'm recreating. My goal is to recreate the major locations of my D&D campaign world um, in Minecraft because I don't really get to play D&D with my group anymore. Scheduling and all that. But it was really cool, and then I put a lot of work into the world building. So, having representations of that stuff in a Minecraft world seems like a fun way to do it. Um, yeah, glad that you agree. I think it's going to be great. So I've already built the thing that we're building right now that we're standing under actually. We are actually at the we're actually at the end portal, at an end portal for this world, over which I put my trading hall, iron farm, and some other vanilla farms that I'm working on that are all going to be the administrator's palace, the basically the mayor's palace in the center of a city called Trader's Gate, which is, if you're familiar with D&D, is kind of like my world's equivalent of Waterdeep. It's not it's not a human city; it's a dwarf city. Which in my setting, I didn't use the names for the generic species names in my campaign setting, so I didn't call them dwarves and elves and all that. For me, the dwarves were called Rune, and the elves, I had wood elves and I had high elves, and the wood elves were called Connie, and the high elves were called Il Connie, and so like two modifiers of the same. So one, they were clearly connected because their species names were similar. Um, And then, so Trader's Gate is a rune city on the surface of the world, which is where the rune would trade with everybody else, because they wouldn't let everybody else come into their freeholds, which were their underground, you know hold fasts, fortresses, stuff. Um, so we are gonna, and near here, relatively near here, because I've looked at the seed. There are a cluster of 2 or 3 ancient cities, all really near each other. Um, so we're gonna build Trader's Gate here, and then we're gonna go to where those ancient cities are, and we're gonna clear them out, take care of the wardens and all the skulk and all that stuff, and reconstruct uh, a runic freehold down there, and then have a tunnel underneath that goes from Trader's Gate to there. I have plans. Like I said, this is my forever world. I intend to be doing this for a while, and so I'm glad that if you come along for the ride. Um, I am doing. I am recording these streams. I stream on Wednesdays from like 7:30 to 9:30. Um, I really right now I'm only streaming 1 day a week because I have a day job. That's how it is. Sometimes I also stream on Sundays, but it's not terribly reliable. And then I'm putting the VODs from these streams up on my YouTube channel, which is under my username. So if it's something that's interesting to you and you want to go back and watch, or just do whatever, hang out and do whatever it is you're doing, and just have me in the background, you're welcome to. I use when I build vanilla farms, I a lot of times use tutorials from other content creators. I always give credit for those farms when I do, and I never build those farms on stream. So, like if I use a farm design by SilentWisperer or by Prowl, um, or another content creator, I'll mention, hey, this farm is by this person, and I'll put a link to their video, but I won't build it on stream um, live, because if you want to learn how to build their farm, you should go watch their video. That's kind of the attitude that I've got. I understand that. I have gotten moderately good at following tutorials. Um, I understand Redstone well enough to understand how to follow a tutorial. And I can debug stuff a little bit. So when I put it together following the tutorial and it doesn't quite work right, I can usually fiddle with it enough to figure out to fix it. But I totally get it. Like a lot of the farms are really complicated, so I totally understand that. Yeah, that's why the first thing that I did was a iron farm trading hall. That was really the first thing I did. Um, when I'm done making these potions, I'm gonna go up and we'll walk around. I'll show you everything that I built so far. Just do a little walk around. But yeah, so I start with an iron farm and go from there. And villager trading is so powerful in this game, even though getting the trades all set up is really kind of boring. That it if you're gonna have a world, it really makes sense to have an iron farm. Um, and their iron farms can be a little bit intimidating, but out of all of them, especially on Bedrock, because unfortunately you can't use the Java mechanics for iron farms. In Bedrock, they don't work. Um, they can be a little bit intimidating, and they were frustrating. It was frustrating as heck learning how to do it. Um, but once you understand what's going on with them, then that obviously it becomes a lot easier at that point. Um, and you're right, iron is like a huge limiter in doing a lot of stuff. A lot of the more complicated redstone machines and stuff like that. Um, so without an iron farm, you would spend so much time digging iron. Um, it's the same thing, honestly. I think with a villager trading hall, you really, if you want to do a long-term world, you kind of really want a trading hall, just because otherwise, you're going to be ruining diamond tools all the time, and you're going to need to keep mining diamonds. And once you have a trading hall, you don't really need diamonds for a whole lot anymore because you can just trade for the tools that you need, and that just gets you past that. Unless that's the part of the game that you especially enjoy. And if it is, then cheers. All right, we've got a box of potions, and I can hit that box with a bow all I want, and it will not break. Okay. All right. Oh, let me get that back. Okay. All right, we'll put the rest of these ingredients away, and then we will go up and I will show the rest of the stuff that I got going on up here. Okay. So what do you like to do in Minecraft then? Yeah, me too. I really enjoy building. Do you do a lot of stuff in creative? Yeah, that's cool. It's good. Carrots. And then over here to this stuff. Blaze powder, pufferfish. There we go. All right, so these are my multi-item storage modules. Um, they're done by. It's a design by SilentWisperer using copper golems, and I like it because you can see the little guys working. That hopper line comes down from my bulk storage system upstairs. We're going to get up there in a minute. And then the stuff comes in, it goes into that copper chest right there, and then these little guys open it up, grab the stuff, walk along here, put the stuff in. Whatever doesn't fit in these chests, which I have them labeled with shelves, whatever doesn't go into those chests, they'll put into this overflow chest, which then hoppers out, and then over to the next copper chest, and then down the line. And so it'll go through the entire line. And you can see I've got bays here for more of these. I just haven't put them all in. And then up here is the back and the underside of my iron farm. So golems are killed up there. These are all the beds for the trading hall. You can see the underside of them there. Iron comes down through here. You can hear it working right now. Here's the auto crafter that takes the iron ingots. The iron is filtered out and goes into that auto crafter, and once it fills up with iron ingots, it turns it into iron blocks, which it then puts into here. The poppies go into this, which immediately goes down into a composter and turned into a bone meal. And then, since this is a village farm, there's also the occasional cat that comes through, and cats drop string, and so that takes care. You get the string that way. These are bulk storage silos. So this is netherrack. When the chest is full, the light is on, and it fills all the way up. And then after that, once this stack is all the way full of stuff, then it'll feed into a shulker box. And then when the shulker box is full, it breaks it and spits it out right there. And then you'll have a box of shulker boxes right there. There's a piece of glass right there. There's a piece of glass right there. I'm now I got some rogue stuff from when I did the build that ended up in the hopper line. Okay. And some dirt. Let's throw that in there. And so up here, I have a little book that I put down my plan for the world. This is what I've got written down so far. This is the stuff that I'm working on. Anything with a little asterisk on it is done. And we're going to build a city around this. The administrator's palace is just the first part. There's actually a city around here. And then this is my trading hall. I'm going to drop this glass off. So I got all the books that I want. I've got iron trades. I've got a bunch of masons because I want to use quartz and I don't want to have to turn nether quartz into it. And I've got clerics for redstone and for ender pearls. So 40 villagers. This whole design, this whole trade hall design, iron farm trade hall combination is a design by Prowl 8413. He's a very prominent bedrock YouTuber, and he does really good farms, and so I like his stuff. So over here, we're gonna go over there in a minute. I just showed this to nobody a minute ago because I was talking through it for my VOD, but I'm going to talk through it again for you because you're here. Over here is a moss. I said moss. Hello. Is a mud maker. I have two traders in here. Hello. You have anything that I want? Not really. So dirt goes in here, gets pushed along on a piston line here, gets pushed along on a piston line here, and pushed up there, and then those pistons all push it out like that and makes a great big block of mud. So I can then go up there with a shovel and break it. So this whole room is a moss maker, a mud maker. And I've got this covered with smooth stone for now because I want the shape. I'm going to build a building around this. So you can see how, so that big thing there is the middle part of the palace, and this is going to be like one wing of the palace, right? And so that's the shape that it needs to be in, and then I can embellish it from there with blocks and decorations and stuff. That smooth stone is all going to go away and get replaced with other stuff. Same thing here. This smooth stone is going to go away and get replaced with other stuff. And over here is I've got a moss farm and a pale moss farm in here. I know you're not interested in farms, but I'm showing off what I'm doing. These are both Silent Whisperer farms. They're the same farm, just one is doing pale moss and one is doing regular moss. Anyway, and the only other thing that I've got out here so far is this over here, which this is going to be a tavern or an inn called the Crossroads Inn. And again, the smooth stone is just where I haven't put the decorative blocks in yet. I'm going to build a bridge across this water. I'm actually going to cut this down more and dig it out so that it's deeper, and then we're going to build a bridge across to the other side. And then it's going to be called the Crossroads Inn because this is going to be a crossroads. There's going to be a crossroads going that way and that way, coming out that way, and then going around the water on that side, and then the crossroads goes that way, out through underneath the hillside and out the other side, and then this side of the crossroad goes to the city. And then up here, we'll eventually have an entrance to this. This is the tavern, and so we've got barkeep, got some campfires. Again, we're going to decorate all this. This is all very, very early days. And the whole reason why I did this is because this is going to hide my villager breeder, which is in here. I have a bunch of stuff out here I've completely forgotten about. So, all right. Now then, we need a creeper, and we need slimes, and we need a guardian. Well, creeper's going to be easy. He's going to show up any minute now. Let me get my blueprints out so that I can bap him on the head with it. I want a water bucket anyway. And then I think we're going to go that way, because I haven't really gone that way. Skeleton, don't need you. Zombie. I don't like what Vibrant Visuals does with the flames. It blocks out your screen. I understand it's more realistic. I don't care. There. Ow. Hello, spider. Creeper, please. You want a creeper, you never find one. Well, let's start walking. Hey, Spanner. How's it going? Thanks for joining us. And creeper. Haha. We have our creeper farm blueprint now. So I can take that off my list. That means I can sleep. Yeah, that's isn't that is that this weekend? Heh. I get it. We are right now. Cool. So Spanner is a friend of mine in real life. Um, we have Spanner. We do have in the channel in the chat right now. Somebody we have Silver Copper Cat who has been hanging out with me. In case you hadn't seen. And it's been fun showing somebody new stuff. Um, we are looking for slime. So ideally we're going to want to find a swamp. And we're going to want to find guardians, because I'm using an add-on called AFK Farms, which you can build mob farms and then use and then not have to actually AFK at the farm. You spend coal on the farm in order to fuel it to produce the resource. So it's a more balanced way of doing it, other than the other kind of mob block stuff. Yeah, I need to find a copy of the monster in order to get the blueprint for the farm to start it. Yeah. Look at that hill. Wow. I might need to scout that with my happy ghast. There's another one right there. That's very close, though. It's very close to Trader's Gate. Yeah, big. Well, that's not a mesa actually. That is an extreme hill. Because if it was mesa, it would be terracotta. This is a little flower fields biome. Oh yeah, right. If you saw it in real life. If you saw it in real life, that's like Devil's Tower kind of hill, man. That's huge. I mean, I don't know. Each block is a meter. Alright. Shove some stuff in a bundle. Let's go boating. So we're looking for a swamp, and we're looking for we're gonna look for a underwater monument. I should have grabbed buckets of milk before I left. Do I have iron with me? I might. Nope. Okay, well. Means that I'm not getting a bucket without digging up some iron. I have a bucket, but kind of, if I'm going to do a... Yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. I don't know that I'm going to find a ocean monument tonight anyway. But if I did, I want to deal with it without mining fatigue. That means milk. Alright. Let's get a couple of pots out just in case. And I can put that farm blueprint away. Alright. Row, row, row your boat. Looking for shipwrecks. Looking for swamps. Underwater ruins, maybe. Still gonna need a squid ink farm making dark prismarine. Either that or I'm going to have to... I might put that vanilla, that Bedrock Tweaks add-on back on that adds the charcoal and coal to make black dye recipe. I like that one. I might do that. Speaking of coal. One block? Interesting. Do you have any planned acquisitions for packs, or are you just going to take it as you go? You have a wish list? Because we're packs, we're talking packs unplugged, of course. Board games, card games. That's this weekend in Philadelphia. And we're just running along the river, mostly because this ravine is so big. And we'll either get out to sea or we'll find a friendly shore to get off on. This does not qualify as a friendly shore. So very steep. Huh. I got a thing that said that encoding was overloaded briefly. Then it caught up. Interesting. I hadn't had that happen in a while. Are you noticing any issues on your end? Do I still have people here? Yeah, we're still connected. Hey guys. It's all good. Just I noticed an encoding error briefly, and I wondered if you got any hiccups on your end. It has since gone away, so it was temporary, whatever it was. Uh, but all right, I think we have found that friendly shore. And it's nighttime. Oh, hello. All right. I already have a creeper blueprint, so I didn't need him again. Listen. Listen. All right. We are going to suffer from optimistic thinking. because there's a cow right here. We're going to get a bucket of milk. And that way, if we happen to find an underwater temple when we next get near underwater, I will have a bucket of milk for when I'm done. Yeah. Yeah. He's standing in front of the birch tree, blending in. I've noticed that the bloom on vibrant visuals when there's like flame in front of me just blasts out my screen. I don't toned it way down, but it still seems to be that way, and I don't know how to change that beyond turning vibrant visuals off. And I don't want to do that because otherwise I like it. I just don't like. On the one hand, I get it when it's dark and you get fire in your face. It's bright and it messes up your vision, but I don't enjoy that. Alright, so we are looking for a swamp biome, wherefore I can find some slime. And we are also looking for, eventually, looking for a underwater temple, which I understand that the mountainside is not the place to look for an underwater temple. But, you know, trust the process. To get guardians. And I've never traveled in this direction, so that's part of the reason why I'm going this way. These are some big hill country here. Alright, what's over here? Looking for swamps. This is not that. I don't know, I might build a pumpkin and melon farm too. I don't really need it for trading, I would just need a little one for in case I need pumpkins or something. Melons you can use for potion ingredients, glistering melon. I also really wouldn't mind finding an allay. Honestly. Bringing him back. That'll be a pillager outpost. Alright, let's get the boat back in the water. I got potions of water breathing and potions of night vision with me, so If we find some interesting underwater stuff. Well, that's where a ruined nether portal would be. Oh. An interesting little waterfall. Yeah, that's where a ruined nether portal would be. Except the terrain generation didn't work. Interesting. I kind of want a horse. I kind of don't want to have to figure out how to get a horse back. And horses still don't swim. Whew. Although they will. Mounts of Mayhem, when that comes out, that was one of the things that they've added. So now you can ride a horse across a body of water and not have to be forced off of it and then have to lead the stupid thing. That's big. That makes horses much more useful. You've still got the leaves and tree branches problem, but you don't have the horses don't swim problem. Yeah, I'm pretty interested in the Mounts of Mayhem update. Doesn't have a lot. What it does have is interesting. All right, what is this biome over here? No, dirt and all that. Okay, fine. Does this river continue? No. All right, we're just gonna keep going in a direction here. My hacks. There we go. Nautilus is interesting. I don't like that you still have the mining fatigue problem that you have while riding when on it. So like you can't mine blocks while riding it, which is gonna make because the whole point is that it's supposed to make building underwater easier, except it doesn't really. Uh, or it does as long as you don't screw up and misplace blocks. If you ever misclick while riding on it, then you're back in the same boat that you were before. It does make underwater exploration a little easier, especially early game, because like it will what it'll do is it pauses your breath meter while you're riding it. So that means that if you don't happen to have a ton of water breathing potions, then you can ride the Nautilus around, and they're pretty zippy underwater, especially since they can boost water jet boost, and They they mean so that you don't lose breath bubbles while you're on its back when you're underwater. Now you don't recover them, but you don't lose them. So it's an interesting idea. Faster than a boat underwater. Yes, faster than a boat underwater. Um, on the surface, don't think it's necessarily faster, but when you're underwater, I think you go faster, especially since you're able to boost. Swamp, swamp. All right, all right. Here's a little swamp. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the frogs are big enough. The other option is I hit the frog and then capsize, right? Oh, I did run over a frog. Look, he got in the boat with me. Unfortunately, buddy, you're not going to be able to come with me. Because we are a long way from home, and I am absolutely taking the fast way back when we're done. All right. I'm going to clear a little room here. All right. So now we're going to hang out here until I can get a slime to rub his face on this blueprint. Which it's the middle of the day right now. So we got to wait until nightfall. Oh, did I get something? You got something good? Want to whap the yeah, running over the slime, the frog with the boat was pretty funny. Might turn that into a little clip for a short. All right. So there is a swamp at negative 1668 by 7730. Because I might come back here when it's time to build a frog farm and breed frogs here to get frog eggs to go to different biomes to get the different colors of frogs. I'm gonna go stand out here on this lily pad because I don't want the spawn suppression radius. Is there anything down here? It's so dark. I don't care enough to look. Come on, get on the lily pad. There we go. Hello, wandering trader. Cool. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate it. I'm only going to be doing this for another half hour anyways. So, take care. Have a good night. We'll see you later, man. When I want it to be nighttime, it takes forever. And it needs to be lower than light level 7. And ideally not a new moon. Just waiting for the sun to go down. I just need to find one slime. That's it. Just one. Rub his face on this blueprint. And then I'll be able to do a little slime farm with the add-on that I've got. I think this swamp is closer than the other one that I found. So, I got the coordinates. Coming back here won't be that hard. Breed some frogs. And once I have a slime farm, I'll actually be able to breed frogs. Bring buckets. Get the eggs. We can do a frog-light farm in the end. In the Nether, I've never done a frog-light farm before. Never used frog-lights in building either, and even not even on a server. So it'd be interesting to try. Different colors, I think, will be interesting. what's holding me back a little bit on doing the exteriors of the buildings in the palace that I've got so far is the fact that I want honey blocks for the windows. Um, I have a farm, a design that I'm going to follow for a honey farm from Silent Whisperer, but I don't want to do that on stream because again I'm using somebody else's farm, so I don't want to build that on stream. You know, if somebody wants to watch how to learn how to build the farm, they should watch the video. And watching me watch a video is not exactly engaging, so I'm not going to do that. I will, however, kill some glow squid. Alright, we're looking for slimes. Well, we're definitely in a swamp because there's bogged. What kind of moon is it? Crescent moon. Okay. And they also spawn below Y level 70. So we're still good. they are competing with all the other mobs out here. Maybe I build a little bigger platform. Give them more spawning area. And the sun's coming up. No slime. was a little bit of a bust. We'll head onwards a little while. It wasn't a very big swamp anyway. Just to see what's over here. We're not going to go too much longer tonight anyway. Freedom of navigation. Just looking to see what's out here. I guess we're gonna get out. See what's over this way. Big taiga. And water. see what we can see. And that's the end of that. Not going to dig that canal. Oh, there's a big sandy beach. Huh, look at that. Ain't that interesting? A little sand arch there. Well, this is definitely ocean out here. A reflection on the water, unfortunately, does not help me. Seeing the sky reflected in the water is cool, but does not make it easier for me to see anything. It does make a lot prettier. It does make it harder to see, though. Oh, tropical fish. We are in warm ocean. Kinda looking for the glow of sea lamps. I do, however, have low resolution eyes, and so that does not help. What is that? Oh, it's another portal. Well, I probably shouldn't get my boat too close to it. Take the gold, golden carrots, and the lodestones. Well, a little coral biome. It's a little coral biome. Oh no, it's not a little coral biome. Alright, let's write this one down. Negative 3202. 10,246 for coral. I decide I want to use coral blocks for stuff. That's a pretty big coral biome. It's not renewable, unfortunately. Oh, wait a minute. This might be my mesa desert. It's definitely a mesa and desert. Oh, here's a well. We're in a village. Which means that there's a waystone. I've never been here before. Hey guys. Alright, so that wasn't a bad little adventure. Wasn't everything that we wanted, but it was something. And it's later than I was, than I was planning on going anyway. So, thank you very much for hanging out. We'll get some more done on another day. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.